richer, fancier, better. He retaliated in his own way. He kept buying her bigger diamonds, but of lesser and lesser quality. If she noticed the scheme, she didn't say, and he probably never saw the way she admired her baubles when she thought no one was looking. Sitting at her kitchen table, her jewels shimmering in the natural light. My grandmother, the Elizabeth Taylor of northern New Jersey, the woman I've known to love diamonds more than anyone else in my life, often looked down at her hands and smiled. What is it that makes the glittering rocks so captivating? When I set out to write this book, I wanted to trace the role of the diamond in our culture, paying special attention to the fundamental complexities of the stone as a symbol, simultaneously of magnificent success and romance, but also of shameful avarice. Although I admit I find diamonds quite beautiful and at times even mesmerizing, I don't yearn for them the way my grandmother did. My tastes are a bit simpler, and I don't possess that particular strain of restlessness I've come to associate with the most enthusiastic and prodigal gemstone buyers. Even so, it probably isn't a fair comparison. During my grandmother's time, diamonds spelled royalty and riches and undeniable accomplishment. There were many people behind the scenes of the industry working around the clock to make sure of that. Today, the stones mean all of those things, but they're also scarred by other, nastier associations that have surfaced in recent years. Geological devastation, slave labor, disrupted indigenous populations, unthinkable violence. It's no wonder that even though diamonds are still in fashion, it's not terribly fashionable to like diamonds. Those realities inform brilliance and fire. Those stones are literally, and also figuratively, surprisingly multifaceted. They've meant many different things to different people through the years. Once upon a time, they were believed to stave off ghosts, to avert death if the diamond was clear, to invite death if it wasn't, to promote fertility, to rupture the innards if ingested, and to prompt reconciliation between couples, just to name a few of the other worldly powers that have been ascribed to them. To the marginalized European Jews in the Middle Ages, they meant the possibility of employment. To their descendants during the Holocaust, they provided financial and portable means for escape. To the Indian Maharajas in the 17th century who treasured diamonds, they were a source of mystical strength. To the wealthiest residents of New York City during the Gilded Age, they offered proof of relevance on the global stage, as well as a means for upper-crust social acceptance. Knowing this, we may be amazed to think that the rocks come out of the ground looking, at least by comparison with the finished project, fairly unspectacular. A typical rough diamond is irregularly shaped and has a milky, soapy white or even yellowish hue. The very first person to suggest cutting and polishing one to sparkly perfection deserves a long entry in the annals of lost history, perhaps alongside the culinary pioneer who decided to try eating a lobster. And like those ancient crustaceans, diamonds are products of another age. They form deep in the Earth's mantle under specific conditions of very high pressure and temperature, and then shoot toward the surface by way of subterranean volcanic eruptions. Scientifically speaking, they're quite special. They're carbon, just like coal and graphite, and you and I. But in the case of the precious rock, the element forms in the shape of a sturdy crystal lattice that accounts for its unique and most covetable properties. Namely, diamonds are hard. They hold the title of hardest naturally occurring substance known to man, and they're also chemically stable, very good thermal conductors, and, to use the proper scientific term, optically dispersive. It is this final attribute that leads admirers like me to pause at the Tiffany & Co. windows. Diamonds catch the light. When a diamond cutter approaches a rough stone, he has many goals in mind, but the primary one is usually maximizing the particular specimen's reflectivity, which largely contributes